My name is Mark Hampson. I'm a co-founder of Brotherhood Pictures, and I wrote and directed The Man in the Trunk.
I'm Ronnie Erstenbach. I am one of the co-owners of Brotherhood Pictures. I was also on-set sound and in post-production editor and sound designer of The Man in the Trunk. Oh, and I thought of the story. Forgot about that.
My name is Paul Olson. I'm a co-owner of Brotherhood Pictures and cinematographer for Man in the Trunk.
And the tallest.
And the tallest.
Give me a clap.
So The Man in the Trunk was originally written to take place in the desert because we grew up in the Inland Empire, which is out mostly desert.
The vast stretch of desert that you drive through to get to Las Vegas.
Hot as hell during the day and cold and dry at night. So we kind of had that mindset when we were looking at all the previs production and stuff for it.
In Reno Valley, that's kind of the landscape we knew. We filmed a lot out in that way, and because of that, we always pictured the film being very warm in not a cozy way.
We're going to focus a lot more on the desolation, so the desert seemed like a place we could go to be desolate.
Kind of a darker Western feel to it, very open and isolated, and playing up that aloneness of being drug out from your house, at the middle of the night with a friend into this area that's just devoid of everything.
The idea of the color of the desert really helped us out.
Harsh heat coming down, a lot of oranges, and that's not at all the way the film ended up being.
As we were getting it together, we're thinking of ways to possibly do it. And we've been talking a while about different stretches of highway and freeway that we knew of that were kind of desolate that we could do some of these things on.
We always try to work collaboratively together to come up with something that'll give us the best product that we can.
And we do this thing where we like to go, okay, well, we know we don't want this to happen, but let's speak in hypotheticals. So we said, hypothetically, what if we took this film to Arkansas?
Which is a complete departure. I mean, geographically, that's a far distance from California, so you have that entire production move. Plus you have a completely different climate, completely different look.
Where we had been to film a different movie before.
I remember I was pretty opposed to it. And part of it is you just want to stay close to home. You don't want to have to be far away if you don't have to be.
It was quite a different direction, but we keep talking through it, and we kept having the conversation.
We know we have a lot more resources.
Very nice, but just not what we were originally planning.
And if we were to do it in the winter, where we'd never been before, time of year wise, then it would just be literally the polar opposite of what we had done. This film started off as a short, and so much of it was built around these incidents that happen along the side of the road.
And then you kind of go through, let's put trees there. And it's like, well, that's not really right. It's like, but it's a different kind of running. Not like you run differently, but you're evading through the trees instead of this mad dash through the desert.
Kind of going around rocks and even possibly cacti.
I think we eventually just went, you know what? The ease of it and the change in the art direction, it's okay. I think we can make it work.
Some of the ideas that we could play with out there, definitely the feasibility of getting it shot out there. It took a little while to get around, but when we finally came around to it, I think it was the right call.
When we moved it to the forest, especially in the winter, it became this whole new beast.
I think it's just as good. I don't think we lost anything by changing the tones of the movie. Plus we got the nice little snow drifting into the scenes.
And once we could start picturing that, we started to look at it more of a kind of a frozen wasteland concept.
Which is weird because it was one of the things I thought originally would be a strong point of the desert. But the isolation of it. For some reason, a bunch of trees being around and snow being around, the isolation became about the area and not necessarily the amount of people in it.
The brilliant part about working in hypotheticals is setting aside your anxieties and just trying to be open to the idea. And once you kind of let that floodgate open, kind of allow yourself to see it from that other perspective, and how scary it would be, especially in the dead of winter.
I think we made the right call. The production was easier. We have a lot of contacts out there. It was a lot of fun. I mean, everybody jumping in and driving 24 hours out there is obviously a pain. But I think what ended up on film, I mean, I think it ended up good. So I'm gonna say we made the right call because I like the movie.
Yeah, I think it turned out great. And at this point, I honestly can't even imagine what the film would look like in the desert. With just colors and palettes and stuff of what we wanted it to be, and that's just some other project that I'm sure we'll revisit for something else. But this film, it's hard to remember how that was going to be.